Former Zimbabwean ministers Xavier Kasukuwere and Walter Mzembi have dismissed reports that they're interfering in the succession battle of the governing ZANU-PF. Both former ZANU-PF members, Kasukuwere and Mzembi, left the country 7 years ago when the late former President Robert Mugabe was removed from power. They say they're not taking the allegations lightly, as this can lead to harassment by law enforcement agencies of Zimbabwe. ZANU-PF spokesperson Kennedy Mandaza says his party is united and has no business in harassing the duo. SABC International News editor Sophie Mukwena spoke to the three politicians on this issue.
Well, I think the article and the response, or the statement by Mutsvangwa, is an indication of the deep-seated challenges of illegitimacy that the current administration faces. What Mutsvangwa speaks about is obviously a lot of hogwash, is nonsense. But the key concern that everybody has is from the day the coup happened in Zimbabwe and the current team took over the management of the country, they are just not being able to achieve the legitimacy that they require. Hence, they have put every other day to try and look for somebody to blame for their misfortunes. The party itself has never been unanimous or in agreement with the decision to remove Mugabe the way they did. Secondly, even after they took power, they have never been able to discharge their responsibilities in a democratic and justifiable manner. They continue to abuse the laws of the country. They continue to keep others, obviously, in prison beyond what the law requires. We have now a SADC process that is coming in. It is now being weaponized against citizens of the country. And to the extent that SADC itself is culpable, it has allowed for this situation to continue festering without resolving the situation in Zimbabwe.
Let me bring in Mr. Mandaza. Mr. Mandaza, is it true that the party has not been united in terms of what happened and what's happening in Zimbabwe?
Thank you, Sophie. The party, ZANU-PF, has been and continues to be united in terms of the processes that are supposed to be followed. In as much as we have other people that might be disgruntled, we have seen and what we continue to enjoy in the party is the unity that is there, regardless of the fact that at times you have robust discussion that takes place. And it is necessary in order to inform the processes that are supposed to take place. We shall continue to work to make sure that the unity that is currently there is sustained.
Let's talk to you, Mr. Mzembi. You are also being accused as pushing for early succession debate within the ZANU-PF.
Well, it's extremely unfortunate, first and foremost, that Chris Mutsvangwa himself is not in this conversation because essentially he's the one who raises allegations against us, and the precondition for accepting to appear here was that he would join us and he would substantiate his allegations. Unfortunately, he has delegated it to this brother who, in my books, is absolutely no locus standi on the matter under consideration right now. But that said, let me be kind to Comrade Mandaza and allow him to vent from the party side what he thinks the party position is. Notwithstanding, Comrade Chris Mutsvangwa has this habit of touching storms and running away from them. And it is a precedent that I know him from inside our own cabinet during the time that we were in government. He would touch storms and run away from them. I think he should have been here, with all due respect, to substantiate his allegations and then would respond. But with regards to SADC preparations, he's setting a wrong environment for the holding of this 44th summit by sponsoring an agenda that is absolutely nothing to do with us. If we are that strong to the extent where after 7 years we are still able to directly or indirectly discourse within ZANU-PF, then it means we have a locus standi in the matters that relate to ZANU-PF as a party. We have been in exile for 7 years. How do we direct discourse inside ZANU-PF when we are not members inside this party? How does he name drop Kasukuwere and Mzembi inside a succession debate in which we absolutely have no local standing, because we are members in bad standing according to them? That's why they expelled us. How do we command 7 years later so much power and clouds and strength to dictate the conversation that is taking place inside the party on the succession debate?